the meme wars commence. To anyone listening, I'm going to go over this 4-part mini-series that I put together. It's kind of just like a little opening monologue, but you can follow along. And then afterwards, I'll bring up anyone who wants to come up to speak. So if you can just hold tight on those requests. We got a couple up here, though, a couple regulars. Hey, Schmeckles, this is a little quiz for you. Did you get that intro that I had on?
I missed the intro. I came in late because I just finished my stream. I'm so sorry, Flox.
No, you heard the song. You heard the song. I was wondering if you caught the reference.
Okay, I was late.
Oh.
No, I didn't.
It's all right, dude. You're just not a Rick and Morty fan. It's okay.
Oh.
Wow, shots fired.
The Rick and Morty wars. No, it was from a scene where I think it was in the early seasons where they were stuck inside that virtual reality. Remember when Jerry was pitching those things? He's like, how about hungry for apples? And they're like, yes. Yes. And then they break out of it and they're flying away and that song's playing. And Jerry's all sad and Rick's like, why don't you ask the smartest man in the universe?
Brilliant. You are deep into Rick and Morty. I did not realize.
I've watched a lot of Rick and Morty, and I'm having trouble keeping up with Flox over here.
Jeez, guys, a bunch of amateurs. Anyways, shall we dive in, guys? It is a special day. And I said in the beginning, I think we are at the end. I said, I think the riddles and puzzles were solved today, and I think the last clues came out because we're at the finish line. So part 1 of this mini-series that we can follow along with, and you can use the mega board, and we'll start right where you see it at, and I'll kind of direct you as we go along. So here we go. Part 1, titled "Oh Peter." So we went over in trench warfare. If you guys have been here for a while, we've been taking some deep dives, and we've gone over the deep connections, Ripple's genesis and their ties to the PayPal mafia. I'm sounding like a broken record because I'm saying this often, but it's stuff we go over to kind of see where this all came from. And we've covered this extensively, and it's for a reason. So let me direct your attention here to the mega board. So this first post by Digital Asset Investor here, I'll read it, and then I'm actually going to play you a audio clip from the clip he put on there, but I'm putting these up there so you guys can go ahead and save them. Hold on. Can you guys hear me? I'm getting some DMs. So what are you typing while I'm talking?
Oh, shit. Sorry.
All I heard was Flox is having I was like, are you guys having trouble hearing me? Are we good?
No, you're good. It was me I was asking about because all the trouble that I had to switch to the computer.
Okay. Anyways, we'll keep rolling. This recording is going to sound funny if you ever send it to somebody. Anyways, that's part of the thing. So this post here, you'll see, and I have a sound clip here that I'm going to play for you guys here in a minute. But let me read this real quick. Peter Thiel, who is obviously of the PayPal Mafia, who we've went over extensively, it says, Peter Thiel is a kingmaker in the shadows. He backed Trump in 2016, and now 7 of his ex-colleagues, J.D. Vance, David Sachs, Elon Musk, and Vivek Ramaswamy, are running the U.S. government. Once you understand how Thiel spots winners, blah, 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 he's just kind of going over a thread. But it's important to note, right? His people are lined up in government. Now, what I want to do is I want to go over, and you'll see an attached video, and this is the crazy part. We talk about going back and taking a deep dive. This video of Peter Thiel, and I'm going to play it here in a second. It's 2 minutes long. This is from 1999. Some of you guys weren't even born yet. This dude has had a plan all along. Check out what he says, and then we're going to parse out some of it and go over some other corroborating stuff here. So tune in. Here is a quick 2-minute clip.
Network. And that's the kind of choice governments like China, India, some of these other countries are going to face. They will either have to shut down the telecommunications network and make it illegal for you to own a cell phone, or they will have to basically give up the kind of monetary sovereignty they've had and the enormous power that they've been able to wield as a result of this kind of sovereignty over the last many, many years. And I think this process is already full-fledged. The dollarization worldwide is going to be accelerated enormously by the technology. Now, the second theme is a little bit more speculative, and that is that getting rid of money altogether, going from digital dollars from any kind of government-backed currency to purely private currencies. And what a private currency, what private money, I think, fundamentally means is that there is no medium of exchange. You exchange value for value rather than exchanging value for something the government says has value for value. And whenever you have this intermediate step of the government saying something has value, that's where you have the subterfuge, the sort of legerdemain come in, the game of musical chairs where every now and then a chair gets pulled out and it turns out that you're the one holding a dollar bill that's all of a sudden become worth a little bit less. And the kind of exchange of value for value, the classic model would have been some sort of a barter model. That obviously has enormous transaction costs associated with it. These transaction costs go down in a digital age. And the kind of model that I think is the most likely to take place is one where you have other kinds of financial instruments that are very, very liquid. The one I would cite in the UML disagreement, it's a disagreement on emphasis, is I don't think the big fights on this are going to be fought in Washington, D.C. I think that, and actually it's for all the reasons Richard cited. The people in D.C. are completely backwards. They don't understand any of the technology, and even to the extent they can, it can't be stopped. You cannot stop things on the level of Washington, D.C. in terms of shutting down these encryption protocols, things like that.
So I want to go over two things he said there. I know that was a long clip, but that was from 1999. Peter Thiel of the PayPal Mafia. So he covered two things in there. And one of the things he said, essentially, I'm paraphrasing, transfer anything of value to anything of value. Where have we heard that before? That sounds a lot like Ripple. And if you slide over one on the Mega board, you're going to see a clip from Zoj's dear friend and somebody who we want to get in this space soon, a developer named Quincy Jones, who was one of the first on the scene to break down and explain the XRP ledger to us smooth brains here. But this was an old clip I found, and this is referencing what Peter Thiel said, transferring anything of value to anything of value. Give this a quick listen. And I apologize for the sound. Quincy gets a little wild here, and that's one thing we love about him. So he talks fast, and the clip is a little loud. So bear with me here. It's a quick one.
A lot of the other things there's a lot of overlap. And don't get me wrong, there's some things where it's not proof of stake or proof of work, but that's not what makes it special. That's what makes it maybe unique, not what's special. The two things that make it special is, one, the entire network is a debt.
He's talking about the XRP ledger here.
What does that mean? It means anybody from their individual wallet can list an asset for sale into the debt. You don't have to go to a debt. You don't have to go to the entire network is a debt. In that debt is a liquidity routing algorithm that allows you to maximize liquidity between any asset that you, or maximize it automatically routes the asset to maximize liquidity. So the whole premise of this is no liquidity pools. There's an algorithm that keeps you, so any other exchange, any other DEX, any other everything has liquidity pools. XRP does not. It has an algorithm that maximizes liquidity by being able to route and liquidate the asset based on what's available on the network. Those are the two things that make XRP amazing. Now you can get into the speed, you can get into it's not proof of work, you can get into all that too. But those two things, the fact that the entire network's a DEX and there's an algorithm that maximizes liquidity on that DEX, is the two biggest things. And when people talk about cross-border remittances, currency, nostro vostro, that allows for the instant liquidity of any asset like it's cash. You see what I mean?
So hopefully you guys caught that. He was explaining the XRP ledger, anything of value to anything of value. And so I just gave that little clip in there, one to give Quincy a shout out, and you guys can save that just to go back to it. But Peter Thiel in 1999, he said transfer anything of value to anything of value. And there's another thing he said there. Now, I want you to keep in mind, Peter Thiel is talking about Ripple technology in 1999 before Ripple was even around. Ripple, the company, was founded in 2012, and we all went over that. We took those deep dives on OpenCoin, and we took a deep dive on Peter Thiel's Founders Fund, and he was a very, very early investor. So let's go back one, and let's read that one more time, because the second thing in that clip from 1999 that Peter Thiel said, he said the people in D.C., talking about Washington, D.C., the politicians, they won't know, that none of them know what's going on. Well, let's read this thing that I read at the beginning. Peter Thiel is a kingmaker in the shadows. He backed Trump in 2016, and now 7 of his ex-colleagues, J.D. Vance, the vice president, David Sachs, our new crypto czar, Elon Musk, the head of Department of Government Efficiency, and Vivek Ramaswamy, who, that'll come later. They are all running the government. Guys, this is crazy. Part 1 is titled, Oh, Peter, because Peter is all behind the PayPal mafia. He's all behind Ripple. So, Zoj, before I go to part 2, I saw you had your hand up. If you wanted to make a quick anecdote, I would do it now.
Yeah, briefly, the clip of Quincy there talking, guys, it predates AMMs on our liquidity pools, but since the implementation of those, we've gotten even more powerful with pathfinding and something called the CLOB. It's Central Limit Order Book, and that combines all of it, making it even more badass than what he could describe at that time.
Thank you. I should have caveat that was a really old video, but just that point in general, anything of value to anything of value. And Peter Thiel was talking about that in 1999. Now, let me get to some other stuff. So part 2 in this quick little mini series is titled, You Must Know. So the community discovered today who is most probable to be the person behind BG123. The bearable guy, the riddles we've been following forever, and that is none other than Elon Musk's brother, Kimball Musk. If you want to slide one over past the Quincy thing, you'll see another post by Digital Asset Investor. Take a look at Kimball Musk there with his cowboy hat. This is an old picture, I believe, from 2022. Now, what I want you to do is, you can save this. I'm actually going to play the audio from this. It's a little better when you watch the video, but I'm going to play the audio on here from notfinancialadvice.crypto. He's put out some banger videos for the XRP community in the past. He put this one out today, and this one is strong. So I want you to pay attention to this one. It's a quick 2 minute and 30-second video. This is unlocking what we now are finding is Bearable Guy 123. Here we go.
What if there's someone who always wears a cowboy hat with that same cutout of the brim, with a unique band around it that also includes 3 distinct stars? What if this hat was part of the person's brand and he was never seen without it? What if he was a member of the World Economic Forum and in his World Economic Forum photo, he wore this hat? And what if he was directly related to Elon himself? I'm talking about none other than Kimball Musk, Elon's brother. Right on the WEF website, he wears a band around his hat that features 3 stars. And it may only look like 1 star at first glance, but he wears it so often, you can see from other angles 3 sneaky stars, right through the gap. But not only that, he has a second alternative star band for his cowboy hat that also reveals 3 stars between the gap. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never actually seen a cowboy hat that has 3 stars on it. And Kimball, Elon's brother, has 2 of them. 2 separate cowboy hat bands that show 3 stars in the gap of the brim. Isn't that a little too coincidental?
And what he's talking about here, real quick, and I'll continue this. If you notice on the BG123 drawings, the bear is with the cowboy hat with those exact 3 stars. So when you watch the video, it'll make more sense. We'll continue.
In comparison to the bear's cowboy and everything we know about Elon? What does Kimball Musk do for a living anyway? What's his mission? Kimball Musk is an entrepreneur and philanthropist focused on transforming the food industry through sustainable farming, healthy eating, and community-focused initiatives. He co-founded ventures like the Kitchen Restaurant Group, Big Green, and Square Roots, while also serving on the boards of Tesla and SpaceX, and the WEF. Okay, so Kimball Musk is involved with sustainable farming. What's a key part of sustainable farming? Building greenhouses. He builds greenhouses and takes pictures with sunflowers, you guys. Do any photos of you in a greenhouse exist, let alone multiple greenhouses? Or pics of you watering flowers and admiring sunflowers? Are greenhouses and sunflowers part of your life?
That's a reference to the other BG123 drawings that have him in a greenhouse with sunflower and all the other ones with sunflowers. So keep going, it's almost done here.
By the way, his company Big Green is actually a blockchain-based DAO, which stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. So in other words, he's just a regular old guy who loves cowboy hats with 3 stars on them, greenhouses, sunflowers, and blockchain. Nothing to see here, right? But seriously, considering the connections between Elon and the bear, isn't it kind of strange his brother wears a cowboy hat with 3 stars on it, builds greenhouses in a blockchain-based DAO, and takes pictures watering plants and admiring sunflowers? At the very least, isn't that a little weird?
I'd say that's a little weird. And again, I would save that and go watch that video, because at first I watched it and I was like, I don't know, but it starts to make more and more sense. And I want you to slide over on the mega board one more to Sir Trades a Lot post. Go ahead and click that and check out this post from 2009, Kimball Musk. It's a retweet. He says, "Great lunch with Arrington," which is Michael Arrington, Kimball Musk, Brad Garlinghouse of AOL. So in 2009, Kimball Musk is hanging out with Brad Garlinghouse. Guys, I think my premise, I think the clues have been solved, and I think they're coming out at the right time. So, also remember, we covered this in Trench Warfare as well. That tweet from Elon about his favorite meme. What was his favorite meme? That's right. It was a bear. He was being real sneaky about it, but he said it has to do with a bear, maybe his brother's bear. Oh, and obviously, Elon, as you know, is a huge part of the PayPal mafia. You know, good friends with Peter Thiel. Also, another thing, he's actually announcing X payments sometime this year, and I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. And also, for some more fun, if you want to slide over one more, you'll see a post from Digital Asset Investor that says, "Thanks for playing." And you click on that because if you notice in all of BG123's drawings, he constantly has, he's in gardens or he has hedges like this. And check out that picture with Musk from before, with Kimball Musk, with the cowboy hat. He's in front of hedges. And now this first picture here that DAI posted is from Elon Musk, Twitter headquarters. This is a real pic. Hedges there. Ripple swell. Hedges there. So these are our smaller anecdotes there, but I just thought those were quite interesting. Moving on to part 3. I titled this The White Flag. So as you guys know, another mysterious post was put out today by none other than Joel Katz, aka David Schwartz, aka the CTO of Ripple. He posted a cryptic video in his house showing his TV, you guys all saw this, with Gary Gensler on it, and a white flag, maybe, draping on the TV. A white flag, you say? And I posted, if you slide one over, you'll see David Joel Katz Schwartz. That's actually the video if you want to save it. I'm not going to play it here because the sound is irrelevant. But slide one more over. You have a post by Zach Rector. A white flag, you say? Over Gary Gensler. What does Gary Gensler represent? The SEC. Now let me do you one further here. So you guys see that with Zach Rector in the white flag. Boom. Guys, we're coming to a close here. I feel like, isn't that just the timing of this being able to piece everything together? It's just a little interesting, given that we are seeing posts like this. If you slide one over past Zach Rector, boom, Chad Steingraber, SEC settlements starting to roll out. This was just a few hours ago from KuCoin. We're pleased to announce that KuCoin has reached a major settlement with U.S. authorities. Guys, these cases, they're ending. Don't you think this is all just interesting timing that all this stuff is coming out? And then lastly, part 4, in conclusion, Ripple Community Day, and this is coming tomorrow. We are having a Ripple Community Day tomorrow here on X. Now, one last time, let me direct your attention to the mega board, and let's slide one over, and you have Phil Kwok saying, "I just got off a call with the Ripple team, prepping for XRP Community Day tomorrow, and I can tell you, the stuff we're sharing is going to be pure gold. The world isn't ready for what's coming." Guys, if you're not hyped, if you don't think we're at the finish line, I don't know what to tell you. And lastly, to finish out the mini-series, If you slide one over, you'll see the space post. Feel free to retweet that if you're getting some education out of this. But guys, I thought this was all interesting. I was just putting together the pieces that I was, forming in my head. I'm sure some of you guys have corroborating evidence as well. But with that being said, that's it. Thank you for coming to my 4-part mini-series of why I think we're at the end and why here in Trench Warfare we've discovered the ties from the very beginning and we take deep dives here. So welcome to Trench Warfare. Zoj?